at the time. They sold everything that you can think of. And in Wallace, there was one, I have to mention this because it's my wife's ancestor. Where is she? I bet she's not even listening. It became a legend, institution, if you will, in Wallace, and it was called the Duplin Grocery, and it was Mr. Willie Carr's stores. Everybody knew it. He started it in like 1906 and ran it till 1930. I've got a picture of a bunch of them guys standing on a hot billet stove. Just, you know, you could smell the chili powder. He sold everything from horse collars to black eyed peas to snuff. Just unbelievable. Anything you wanted was in there. And at the time he was in business, it was the largest grocery store between Wilmington and Goldsboro, which was quite a record back then.
Where was it located?
The building is still there. It's on the west, across the street, on the west side of the railroad. And it's down at the end, and it's got one of those big fronts on it, you know, brick building. But it's still there. Duplin County was really, it wasn't really fast growing, but it was kind of steady. And by the turn of the century, there were big things beginning to happen here, and Wallace in particular. Lumber companies became aware of all the beautiful timber we have down here, and Hilton Lumber Company came and set up in, let's see when that was. Y'all don't need to know dates, do you? Everybody brought a number 2 pencil? The Hilton Lumber Company was quite a big operation. They set up on the north end of Wallace, about where, if you remember what used to be the old A&P building, it was right on the railroad right there. They had huge equipment set up there where they could lift logs that they brought in from the area went as far as the other side of Hallsville up to Warsaw, over to Kingsville. They had these small, what they call tram trains, small versions of a regular locomotive engine. Little narrow gauge tracks they laid quickly through the woods where they could have mules and horses to drag the logs up to the rail car, load them on the rail car, bring them back to the shipping in Wilmington, at Wallace, and send them on down to Wilmington. Quite an operation. Camp manufacturing came later. It was on the south side of Wallace, down at the south end of Cumberland Street, if anybody knows where that is. It was a huge operation. It was a sawmill. It was a planing mill. They made crates and baskets like to put strawberries and corn in. Just a tremendous operation. There are pictures. I didn't bring one of those today, but there are several photographs of that operation down there, and it don't even look like they were counted. It was just tremendous. Smokestacks, this building, they were busy all the time, doing all kinds of things there. Speaking of the general stores, I discovered the reason why we don't have any more general stores. Anybody got any idea? This is interesting. I didn't know this. I want to share it with you so you'll know. It happened in Memphis, Tennessee. It's in 1960. A man by the name of Clarence Saunders. He began to change the way the grocery stores operated, like Mr. Willie Carr's store. Prior to this time, you gave your shopping list, to the clerk behind the counter where the goods were stored. The clerk would fill the orders, okay, and bring it up the counter and check you out. Saunders thought that method was a waste of time. So what he did, he had a better idea. He gave the customers baskets, open shelves, and made it a shopping self-service. It was really a clever idea. It caught on. And guess what he named his store?
Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah. Piggly Wiggly. There's a little country store on the west side of Wallace. Have any of you been to that? It's yeah.
What is it?
I haven't been in it. Is it? You don't know? Okay. There's still a few of these places around. Has anybody seen down Highway 41 going east? Past that little pink, right there across from that pink supper house? Yeah. That great big huge thing? Yeah. Okay, that was relocated from Deep Bottom. Everybody know where that is?
Yeah.
Okay. It was an old general store sitting down there. These people had purchased it. And I took pictures of it, some pictures inside. There was a post office in that thing at one time, and it was just the place to be down in Sloan and Duke Bottom, okay? And they have relocated to where you see it now, and I, for the life of me, don't know what they're going to do with it. I have to talk to them in a couple of years. Does anybody know? This should be interesting, so keep an eye on that. Strawberries. Right. Tobacco. Tobacco here, we got a picture. Tobacco really started as a cash crop back in the 1890s around here. Matter of fact, it started in Jenkins. It spread fairly quickly up everywhere, of course, and Wallace at one time, I think, had as many as 5 or 6 tobacco warehouse sales. May have that. I don't know. There was a lot of them here, and it was one of the largest, what they call single sale tobacco markets in the state at that time. That meant single sale meant just one set of tobacco buyers and tobacco companies operating. It was the largest at one time. Has anybody ever seen a tobacco sale? Yeah. Yeah, there's a few of us in this. That was something. You know what was so interesting to me? The guy walking behind the auctioneer, listening to all that stuff. And he was, this is the truth, he was standing there with a pad, and he would write down this ticket, which had the pounds in it, this particular pile of tobacco weighed. And he would write down a 2 or 3 digit price for this thing, multiply it in his head right quick, and write that figure down just as fast as that man could talk. Just as fast as that man could talk, he would write it. I don't know how he did it. The tobacco industry flourished here for quite a few years, beginning of the 19th century, all the way up through they discovered that it wasn't that good for you. And, I think the last sale, maybe somebody else here could tell me, in Wallace was in the 1980s, I think, the last auction, tobacco auction sale. I think that's right. But strawberries, gosh, they came about the same time. Wallace was just overloaded with goodness. To give you some idea on how big the strawberry industry was here in Wallace, I want to just read you this. The Atlantic Coastline published, which was before the Seaboard Coastline here, in 1915, a shipper's guide. And they said in that, from every station on this line, berries are shipped in great quantities. At all principal shipping points, Northern buyers congregated in numbers only good to secure this famous fruit. The guy goes on to say that the strawberry, transporting the strawberry crop annually required over 3,000 refrigerated cars. The ACL arranged for special train services from here and from 5 to 7 solid train loads moved daily at the height of the season. The shipment total for a season was about 625,000 crates, or about 20 million quarts of strawberries. That's just unbelievable. A friend of mine, oh, I got to stop. Let me finish with this. A friend of mine told me he was a strawberry grower. He's deceased now, and he lived between just north of Wallace, near the railroad. He says he can remember seeing over 200 freight cars loaded with strawberries at one time, sitting on that railroad track, waiting to go to work. So with that, I need to stop.
But you'll be back for questions. You'll be back for questions.
Okay. Thank you.
When was Wallace named, and who was it named after?
It was first, the post office, Mr. Baldy named the post office. The post office department said Newman Road was too long. In 1866, they changed it to Wallace. Mr. Baldy was good friends with the president of the railroad at that time, Stephen D. Wallace.
When did the pork industry start?
Pork. I'll get to that one.
We appreciate you coming out tonight. That was a great talk, and thank you so much. It was interesting when I was building our house. When Carrie and I moved down here 11 years ago, we were building our house. I was out one of the early days. The house was about half done, and I was talking to one of the guys that was working on the house. And he's kind of a rough old guy. He called across. He said, "Young man, come over here." So I went walking over there, and he said,